It won't just be, I'm ignoring this. It will be, your titles are stripped. You are.
We'll see their dukedoms and HRHs formally revoked, according to the Daily Beast, by Prince William, then King William.
We've seen, I guess, pressure over the weekend on Charles to go further anyway. Because, of course, by allowing...
After years of warnings, King Charles finally did the unthinkable. He stripped Harry and Meghan of their royal titles. No more Duke, no more Duchess, just Harry and Meghan, the couple who pushed the crown too far. You know, we've seen Meghan continue to use her HRH despite being ordered not to do so by the late Queen Elizabeth II, and they say that Prince William's own children, ... double quotes. It finally happened. After years of royal drama, Netflix pity tours, and California privacy podcasts, King Charles has officially stripped Harry and Meghan of their titles. No more Duke and Duchess of Sussex.
Want Harry at his coronation. I mean, that is extraordinary. That shows you how far things have fallen. I don't think there is a way back. I really don't.
No more pretending to represent a monarchy. They spent the last 4 years trashing on camera. The palace corridors are buzzing with one phrase: it's done. But for King Charles III, the decision to strip his youngest son and daughter-in-law of their titles was not born out of rage, but exhaustion. Years of turmoil, public embarrassment, and endless attempts at reconciliation had finally worn...
If they want to be full-time working royals or lead lives as private citizens. But you know what?
When Charles ascended the throne, many hoped he would usher in an era of unity. Instead, his reign has been overshadowed by two absentees who seem determined to dominate every royal headline from 6,000 miles away. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex had become global figures, but not for royal duty. For controversy, confession, and constant criticism of the very institution that gave them those titles.
So what's going to happen? Will a divorce change things? Maybe. But remember, Prince William set Harry these very...
But Charles tried to look past it. He ignored the documentaries, the interviews, even the memoir that reduced private family grief to bestseller fodder. He's a father before he's a king, one courtier once said. But even a father's forgiveness has limits, especially when every act of mercy is turned into another media opportunity.
William is reportedly planning a major blitz in which he'll strip a series of outer royals of their titles. So what would that mean for Princess Beatrice?
Well, she's married to Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi, who's Italian noble.
The revelation that Meghan was still using her Royal Highness styling in private correspondence, reportedly broke the final thread of trust. The late Queen had been promised this would never happen. To learn that it had continued, quietly and deliberately, was a wound that struck both at the heart of the monarchy and the family itself.
One for him, Link, that was so personal was Catherine. It was like, do not.
Charles is said to have wrestled with the decision for months, torn between duty and love, but royal advisors grew firm. The monarchy could not appear powerless. Every appearance of indecision eroded confidence in the crown. The line had to be drawn, said one senior source. And only the king could draw it. So he did.
Contessa, which probably sounds a bit better, actually. So she could become a Contessa. She could do that. But certainly it's rumoured that William wants to slim down.
With quiet resolve, he ended years of speculation. There would be no more grey area, no more half measures. Titles carry weight, and weight requires responsibility. And for Charles, it was finally time to protect the crown from chaos even. If that chaos came with his own bloodline...
In spare. And what did he do? He came for Catherine. And so there's no going...
When the first whispers of the title removal reached Montecito, Meghan Markle reportedly refused to believe it. For someone who had built an empire of influence off the back of royal association, the thought of losing that connection was not just alarming, it was existential. Her entire public image, her philanthropic voice, even her commercial leverage, hinged on those 4 words. The Duchess of Sussex.
And is that they will be left without the title. Some of the suggestions are not just about Andrew and Fergie and their daughters, but also Prince Harry and Meghan, which will obviously be quite distressing for them. That could be effectively a bit of revenge on that sort of side. But that's what happened, and it could be coming within early weeks of King William V is what he would be.
Behind the scenes, sources describe a flurry of late-night phone calls and carefully worded emails. Meghan's team, accustomed to managing PR storms, went into quiet overdrive. Statements were drafted, then shelved. Allies were consulted, then silenced. She wanted to get ahead of the story, one insider said, but this time there was nothing to spin. The palace's decision, though unannounced, was described as firm and final.
You know, he's not someone you want to mess with. He's not someone you want to cross. And I'm not saying that he's...
For Meghan, the loss of control was the real humiliation. Since leaving royal life, she had curated her own narrativa, modern woman breaking free from a rigid institution. But now, the institution had struck back, reclaiming its power with a single royal decree. And in royal terms, silence is louder than any press release.
From Andrew, but as I say, from Eugenie, Beatrice, Harry, Archie, and Lilibet as well, are the suggestions.
And there are reports that Parliament is on.
Friends say she was stunned, not just by the act, but by its timing. The move came as her new lifestyle, brand a project she'd hoped would reposition. Her, as a global tastemaker, was beginning to take shape. Investors were cautious, waiting to see how much of her royal prestige would hold. Then came this. Overnight, the woman once described as Hollywood's Duchess found herself facing a new uncomfortable reality. Without the crown, the spotlight burns out fast.
A very kind and caring person, and staff love working for him, and are loyal to him. You know, like he has all of his former staff members.
Reports suggest that Harry tried to shield her from the emotional fallout, urging calm and patience. But even he seemed shaken. He knew what this meant not just for their public life, but for their identity as a couple. They weren't the Duke and Duchess anymore, they were Harry and Meghan. And in the ruthless world of image and influence, names matter.
Prince Andrew's links to Jeffrey Epstein. What can you tell us about this?
Yes, well, the general rule is this, Gabriella, that questions that cast reflections on the sovereign or the royal family are inadmissible in Parliament.
Behind closed doors, the mood in Montecito shifted from disbelief to determination. Meghan wasn't ready to surrender. If the palace wanted to play quiet power games, she would answer not with silence, but with strategy.
Fiery. And Harry had so many chances, and he threw them all away. But the thing that's been most astonishing for me over the past couple of weeks is that Prince Harry is so deluded that he genuinely believes that he can raise his...
Prince William had watched in silence for years. The interviews, the accusations, the documentaries that painted his family as villains. But now, as headlines continued to blur royal dignity with celebrity drama, the heir to the throne had reached his breaking point.
A couple that we all like to talk about. Yes, they are... What has emerged, Bev, as you've probably seen this in the papers this morning, they used an image.
Sources inside Kensington Palace say William's patience turned to quiet resolve. Behind closed doors, he began meeting with senior advisors, determined to end what he privately described as a long chapter of chaos. While King Charles wrestled with fatherly guilt, William's focus was colder. The institution must survive.
Ever return to the United Kingdom, actually, sort of use them as a pawn so that poor King Charles, who is suffering from this terrible...
The plan he proposed was drastic, but clearer letters patent, a royal decree powerful enough to reshape the monarchy's structure for generations. The order, he suggested, would not only address Harry and Meghan, it would streamline titles across the family, removing outdated peerages and limiting who could use royal designations. Even Prince Andrew and the extended York line would feel its effect. William viewed it as necessary surgery, said one royal insider. Painful, yes, but essential to save the...
There's no relationship with 2 out of his 5 grandchildren, and then
For years, he had watched as royal tours, charitable work, and even the king's health updates were overshadowed by the Montecito media machine. Every scandal, every interview, every new truth from Harry and Meghan's side dragged the monarchy into modern ridicule. It wasn't just bad press, it was erosion from within.
This trailer, which has almost become more, this legendary trailer of these photographers.
A global event.
Saying that this is just terrible.
Those close to William say he delivered his message to his father with calm firmness. No shouting, no emotion, just conviction. If we don't restore order now, he reportedly told Charles, we risk losing control forever.
Roll. Like Harry has briefed to the left-wing Guardian newspaper that he wants to leave that
He wasn't threatening his father. He was preparing him. Because William understood something few dared to say aloud. If Charles didn't act, the burden would fall to him. And when his time came, he intended to inherit a monarchy that could stand on its own, not one propped up by silence and nostalgia. It wasn't a rebellion. It was a succession.
In fact, it was taken at a premiere of a Harry Potter movie back in 2005.
So
that's quite a bit. That's a good, what is it now?
While the royals deliberated behind palace walls, the public had already made up its mind. Across Britain, sentiment had shifted from sympathy to frustration. What began as curiosity about the Sussexes' new life had devolved into outrage at what many saw as hypocrisy.
Walk in as like these Californian teenagers at 18 years.
Newspapers called it the royal circus. Social media buzzed with memes, mocking the contradiction. Even traditional royalists, once fiercely loyal to the Queen's grandson, began to question why the Sussexes still appeared on the official royal website under members of the royal family. The monarchy must mean something, a commentator wrote in the Times. If everyone can claim a crown when convenient, then the crown itself loses meaning.
Give me a job, William. It's not going to happen. Now, no one blames these two poor children. I mean, I was listening to Maureen Callahan the other day predict that she thinks, eventually these two will move as far away from Harry and
The palace, as usual, tried to stay silent. But this time, silence only fueled the flames. Calls for accountability grew louder. Parliament members received letters demanding reform. Public opinion polls revealed that a majority of Britons supported removing Harry and Meghan's titles altogether.
Possibility. I mean, if I were them, I would grow up and I'd think, oh my God, you stole the opportunity for me to live history. You stole the opportunity for me to meet and spend time with the
Heat frustration wasn't only about the Sussexes' conduct. It was about fairness. When Prince Andrew was stripped of his Duke of York status after scandal, many saw it as proof that no one was above consequence. You can't make one rule for Andrew and another for Meghan, said one Westminster aide. Otherwise, it's not a monarchy. It's a mockery.
I think that, okay, that's a small point. You don't actually have to even pick this kind of...
The optics were brutal. Every time Meghan appeared at a glitzy American event using her Duchess title, British headlines roared back with indignation. What she saw as her brand, the public saw as exploitation. The royal mystique, once untouchable, was now trending on gossip blogs and red carpet interviews.